we're here today at the CCM Pro Skate Factory in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, a town 30 minutes outside of Montreal. And we're here at CCM's Pro Skate Factory to show you how a custom skate is made. This is the factory that we make our skates for all of our NHL players, all of our pro players across Europe as well. So we're gonna have a look at that today. So one of the elements that we make sure to capture is, of course, the dimensions, how their preferences, how do they want the skate to fit around their ankle, around their heel, around their forefoot. And now we use, of course, advanced and very modern technology to get the measurements of the foot. So we use 3D fit scanning technology, which then allows us to recreate that player's foot in-house at our factory and have a three-dimensional representation of their foot so that we can create the skate around it. So the first few steps of making a custom skate consists of die cutting the quarter package to the player's size, die cutting the tongue materials to the player's size, and then having an electronic automatic die cut of the facing materials that go along the high collar of the boot. The next operation consists of stitching the components that have been put together for the player's specs. The first one being the tongue. So we assemble the felt thickness as well as the tongue design and the lace bite protector that the player chooses from the custom skate catalog that the pro representative presented to them. And then we move to another stitching operation, which consists of stitching the facing materials. Slightly different when we speak about a two-piece skate versus a one-piece skate. So a two-piece skate, a little bit more of a traditional construction, a flat quarter at first, and that's when we do all of the stitching of those facing materials. Whereas a one-piece boot comes basically fully shaped, fully assembled, and creates a little bit of a different way for us to be able to assemble those facing materials. A lot of stitching, a lot of curves, a lot of manual handling of the skates. Complicated process, but very, very durable. One of the fun parts of getting a custom skate is the fact that players can get a customized tongue design. Some players choose to have the CCM logo, others like to have their number on their tongue, and others want to put their team logo. So with a vectorized image, we're able to put a custom component to the tongue of any custom skate. This operation is strictly for two-piece skates. The flat quarter is wrapped around the shape of the foot and then heated until it takes the shape of a natural foot. Once we reach this stage, most of the materials have been bonded to the quarter package. So our next step is just to remove any of the excess so that we have a nice, smooth finish. Our next step is to heat up the quarter package to simply soften up the material slightly, and then we punch the holes through the quarter package at an exact distance from the edge of the quarter to make sure that we have a lot of consistency there, and then proceed in putting the eyelets along the entire edge of the boot. Once we reach this stage, we have a three-step process. First, we heat the skate and shape the heel of the boot. We then heat it once again and shape the front or the forefoot of the boot, and then we heat it one more time to shape the underneath of the boot. Once we reach this stage, the skate is almost complete. For a two-piece skate, we have to bond the outsole to the quarter package, whereas for a one-piece skate, that portion is already complete. So we go straight to the assembly of the holder. For the holder, we place rivets underneath. We punch holes through the bottom of the boot, and then place rivets all along the entire holder, and then finish it off with copper rivets in those key areas where there's a lot of energy transfer, a lot of attempted torque in the skate, so we use very stiff and durable copper rivets for that portion of the assembly. The final stages of the assembly, of course, putting laces onto the skate, then we place them in this CCM red box, and off they go. So overall, there's a ton of manual labor involved in making a hockey skate. A hockey skate is an extremely complex piece of equipment. We need it to be comfortable, but we need it to be extremely stiff. So right then and there, it makes for a very complicated process. A lot of components, a lot of pieces that need to be assembled. There's an expertise to making the skate. There's a lot of curves, a lot of different sizes. So again, a lot of complexity, which means that there's a lot of human involvement. In every skate, there's probably 20 to 30 people who have touched the skate before it actually gets to the hands of the player. So again, a very manual process, especially when you talk about a custom factory. Every single skate is a different specification. Some players might want a thicker felt, some of them might want a black felt, some of them want a different type of runner, others want simply a different boot cut. So a ton of different types of specifications in a custom factory that make the process a little bit slower, but that require a lot of attention to detail. In comparison, when you have the retail skates that are delivered to stores, the level of quality, the level of attention, and the materials that are used are identical. Essentially, we have the exact same process. However, because there's less customization and a lot more of a regular process in terms of the material and the operations that take place, we're able to make more skates at a faster rate. Simply reduce complexity from a manufacturing standpoint. From a quality and from an attention to detail standpoint, and in terms of how much human labor there is, exactly the same in a custom factory or in a retail factory.
First things first, taking a look at CCM's Pro Custom Skate Factory has been amazing. The biggest surprise for me by far was how much complexity goes into making a skate. Now that sounds ridiculous to say because skates are very complex to make, but it was the intricacy, the amount of people that it goes into creating one skate. This isn't just with custom skates, this is with any skate the CCM produces, whether it's for retail or for an NHL player. The attention to detail, the amount of manual labor that goes into creating all of the different elements that make up a skate is exactly the same. What differs when you look at pro custom skates and pro retail skates is the way CCM collects their information from the player. That's where the real difference is. But the amount of manual labor, complexity, time, detail, scrutiny that goes into every single skate that we can buy in retail stores that has the CCM logo, whether it's custom or it's retail stock, is surprising.